Hi everyone, we're at the Smoky Hill Museum with Susan Hawksworth, the director of the Smoky Hill Museum, and boy are you going to have some fun watching this video today because they have a brand new pop culture 60s display that is just absolutely outstanding, and we're going to talk about it today. And Susan, I got to admit, I was having so much fun before we started taping that I thought, well, maybe we could just talk and tape some other time because you have so many things to see. Tell me just a little bit about the displays and what we have going on here at the museum.
Well, we have a real visual and audio display of the 1960s to really bring people back into that time period and to get younger kids excited about the 60s as well.
Exactly. Really takes me back into the 60s because back in the 60s is when I started in the radio business, and a bunch of these albums you have back here are albums that I actually played on the air. Now, not too many people heard me because it was a 500-watt radio station, but I was playing these records and it brought back so many fond memories. And just give us some kind of an idea of really what it takes and take us back in time so we have a little bit of a concept of what we're going to be seeing here.
Well, we wanted to make this exhibit fun. This is part 2 of our 1960s exhibits. The first one was political power. So
right.
it was a little heavier, a little more serious.
It's a little bit subdued.
So we wanted
I
this
enjoyed
one,
it, but
yeah, we want this one to be fun. So this is on the cultural side of the 60s. It's about the music, the art, the fashion, the TV, toys, everything that goes with everyday life of the 1960s.
Oh, and the 1960s, for you younger folks out there, it popped. I mean, the creativity, the music, the drama, the romance of the 60s, it's just incredible. You have something over here called the Culture Vulture.
Yes.
And I said that slow because I knew I'd mess it up if I didn't. The Culture Vulture, folks. And tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the Culture Vulture is to test your knowledge of the 1960s, test your knowledge of quotes, whether it's movies, sports, or music. So you have to decide which one of those three that quote goes into. And then there's also a bonus question that will let you know what a little bit more culture on it. The current bonus question is Ricky Ticky Ticklers. No, that's not right.
Something Ricky.
Ricky. It's the what they called the flowers, the 1960s flower icon.
Yeah. And you have some of those up on the wall here.
We do have some of them on the wall.
Are we going to talk about the laugh-in display or?
Oh, we have to. We have a dress-up corner where you can dress up, and then there is a laugh-in wall that you can, for those of you that are old enough to have seen it or seen reruns of it, it was a very colorful wall that you could pop out of and say, "You bet your bippy," sweet bippy, and we have one of those.
And I remember some of the characters in that. There was a little guy that would come out behind a bush in a German outfit and a German helmet to say, "Very interesting." So you got to bring the kids. Let's talk about, grandchildren, because I think for them and their grandparents, this could be a huge hit. They could spend a lot of time in here seeing what's going on.
Oh, they could. And they could recognize quite a bit that's going on too, because a lot of popular toys, even today, actually started in the 1960s. Everything from Twister, The Game of Life, Rock'em Sock'em Robots were all started in the 60s. And some toys would be like the See and Say.
Oh, yeah.
And Barbie, even though she started in '59, she became, very popular in the 60s.
Huge.
And we have just a whole lot of Etch-a-Sketches.
Etch-a-Sketch. I saw the Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah, that they can actually play with. And then
fantastic.
we have some actual toys from the period that they can look at.
Well, yeah, no touch, but well, they're glass enclosed anyway, so they can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you got to bring the kids. It's going to be fun. Television. That's really when television started to come into its own. And I can remember, I think at that time we could get one channel, maybe two, well, no, three. We had ABC, CBS, and NBC, and that was it. Now you've got hundreds of channels, but at that time too, they didn't have things called remote control, younger people. You had to go to the television and actually turn the knob to get to the channel you wanted to.
That's what you called children.
Children, yeah. Well, tell me about some of the shows. I remember some of them, but...
Oh, there were some really iconic shows came out of the 60s. You had Dragnet, you had Gunsmoke, which was one of the longest running television shows. Twilight Zone.
Oh, classic.
Yeah. My personal favorite, which was Gilligan's Island.
Oh, yes.
I loved Gilligan's Island as growing up because I'd watch it on reruns on TBS. But, and Gilligan's Island actually spanned an important part of television when it went from black and white to color. Colors when the broadcasting systems really started pushing color in the late 60s. So a lot of those shows that started out in black and white then changed to color.
Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Huge.
Yes.
Still huge to this day. But all that creativity, that's the thing that I think in the 60s that, I know we're seeing a lot of technical advancements and a lot of exciting things going on, but there was just something about that era, politically as well as culturally, that just exploded because, for example, the Beatles, you know, that's my favorite group of all time, changed the whole atmosphere of music of that era, and it was just amazing the new creative styles that came out of that era that I don't think, well, personal opinion here, folks, but I don't think it can be matched today. So that's something you have too, is the hairstyles and clothing. I mean, jeez. Can they try on some clothes here?
We have some clothes they can try on. We have some hats and scarves, more of the accessories. We don't have any dresses or neighbor jackets.
Oh.
I know. It's just a little hard to find some of those, and we didn't have time to make them.
Yeah, I gave mine away. What can I say?
Although we had quite a few for our opening exhibit that came dressed in their 60s clothes.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah. It was quite fun.
Oh, I'll bet that was fun. I had a pair of shoes that didn't have laces, and that was before Velcro, but they had a flip on them, like a tongue that you could flip open and then flip closed. That's something you don't see anymore. Right. And I had white bucks. Now, for you that don't know what white bucks are, it was for my band, in the band, and you had these white suede shoes, and then you had this white powder. And if they got dirty, you just sprinkle the white powder over it. I tell you, I was styling back in those days.
Yeah.
I was the only one that knew I was styling, but I thought I was styling.
Well, styling was big in that time period. It really was a youth decade.
Oh, certainly was.
Because that was the time when baby boomers were really coming of age. So you had all this youth and youthful energy coming out that really affected everything.
Everything. And you're right, absolutely everything. Civil rights, political, cultural, the sexual revolution. I mean, it was everywhere. Any hidden gems?
Oh, we have one major hidden gem. We have, for those of you that listen to rock and roll in the 60s, you probably listened to KOMA. They were all over the southern half of the U.S., out of Oklahoma City, and we have the kissing tune, or sounder. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but when it came on, you were supposed to kiss your sweetie.
Yeah, I remember that. I used to have a transistor radio, and I had a paper route, and I'd listen to the transistor radio and listen to Charlie Tuna on KOMA. Anything else? Anything else that we need to cover that we haven't, and when is the exhibit open? Where is the Smoky Hill Museum? Because there's going to be people from out of town that definitely want to see this.
Well, we talked about TV and movies. We do have clips from television shows as well as movie trailers in our James Bond room because it's got the modern look to it.
Oh, all right.
And you can always, you can come to the museum. This is actually going to be on exhibit for a year through February 4th.
Great.
So you got a lot of time to come back and bring more people to come see it. We're open 12 to 6 Tuesday through Friday and 10 to 5 on Saturdays. And the museum is at 8th and Iron in downtown Salina.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been fun.
It has.
And you should come by the Smoky Hill Museum in Salina. Bring the grandkids, bring your friends, tell them all about it because they're going to love it. Thanks for watching.